bullish Wall Street outlooks, positive iPhone sales data. Extrapolate these, upside targets could be revised maybe all the way. Apple, AAPL, one of the most popular stocks that I get asked quite often on, and also the highest market cap stock in the world. Where are we right now? Can there be more upside as we head into 2025? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier mindset trader in Philips Securities, and in this video I'll be talking about this stock called Apple, AAPL. Alright, we'll dive into the news, what has came out over the past few weeks, and of course we'll dive into the charts as well to see what has happened over the past weeks. Okay, let's take a look at some of the news that have came out for Apple over the past few weeks. You can see right over here, Apple stock hit records intraday high on bullish Wall Street outlooks, positive iPhone sales data. So some of the Wall Street analysts have issued bullish outlooks on Apple ahead of the release of this Apple Intelligence. So what exactly is Apple Intelligence? Well, essentially it is AI or artificial intelligence on your Apple iPhone or your Mac or your iPad, right? And this Apple Intelligence allows you to do things much more effortlessly. It's able to help you to create a reply on your messages, read your emails, reply your emails for you. It can even create like AI images for you as well with just a few prompts, right? Something like ChatGPT like that. And Apple actually calls it the start of a new era for Siri. So Siri has been around for a long time. This is where you can actually talk to the phone and help you to do like some simple tasks. But now with Apple Intelligence combined with Siri, all right, it's so much more powerful. All right, it's able to write for you and understand in terms of your whole entire personal context as well, and has the ability to take actions in and across the apps as well, to do this for that app, to do that. And very powerful too, alright, and that's pretty much Apple Intelligence on the iPhone and the iPad. Some of the analysts at Morgan Stanley, alright, have reiterated their buy ratings on Apple stock this week, alright, because there's some positive iPhone shipment data, and that showed strong demand for Apple's previous smartphone models. Sales were also helped by Apple's rollout of the iPhone 16. So I think this year it'll be iPhone 16 that will be slowly rolled out, and they're saying that despite the staggered rollout of Apple Intelligence in markets outside of the US, Apple will continue to grow in the upcoming holiday season. So I think this whole Apple Intelligence is slowly being rolled out to the rest of the world. In another news article, it's written that Apple third quarter performance was helped somewhat by the new iPhone 16, which went on sale on September 20. And the new iPhones got off to a strong start in China with sales 20% higher in the first 3 weeks since the launch compared with the 2023 models. So many of the industry experts believe that Apple can perform well in China or in the future, especially with the help of the iPhone 16 series, alright, and this iPhone 16 is now Apple's take on artificial intelligence, AI, right? And they call it Apple Intelligence. So let's take a look at the charts of Apple to see what it says right now and if there could potentially be more upside as we end 2024. So we are trading at about $233 right here. And before I talk about where we are, let me just run through what has happened over the past year, right? So you can see that for Apple, I mentioned in my previous video that since last year, we actually have been trading below this very critical psychological resistance level, and that level would be the $200. You can see we kind of like touched it somewhere in July last year. We came down somewhere in December, came down even in January this year. We sold off. But let's just fast forward to somewhere around in June, right? 12th of June to be exact, 11th of June, right over here, we broke above this psychological $200, and that's where it triggered a whole new momentum. You can see that it read it all the way from 200 to about 240. All right, a bit of a retracement as the market weakened, went all the way down, and we retested the same $200, right? So that's a good sign. You can see that we actually push away from this resistance turn support at $200, and it pushed up, respected this new support level, and we kind of like rebounded from it. So that's a good thing. It just shows that this $200 would be a very key level. We are pretty much at a higher phase right now from below 200. Now we are actually above this 200 level, and this $200 will now be a new support level. So let me just turn this to green in color. You can see that after breaking the $200 somewhere in June, right, there were signs, right, of the uptrend actually forming in the longer term, right? What do I mean by that? Well, you can see that since last year, I mentioned, right, we were actually below the $200 psychological resistance level, right? So it's like up, down, we kept below it. Each time we near 200, it sold back down. We were in a, not say downtrend, but we would probably be in a sideways trend, right? Below 200, probably from like 1 260 to 200, and just by looking at the moving averages, the red line, 100 days moving average, and the blue line, the 200 days moving average, you can see that, since last year in September, the red and the blue line, it was just pretty much moving sideways. Right? That means that the longer term trend is sideways, which is correct, right? Because we are consolidating below the 200 level, right? But after breaking the $200 level in June, right, you can see that's where the 100 days moving average line, the red and the blue line, you can see both of them have started to turn up, right? Right over here, you can see that we have turned up for the red line. The blue line have started to turn up, and the red is above the blue, so 100 days above the 200 days moving average line as well. That shows that the longer term trend has finally turned from like sideways over the past year to now up, right? And that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. And you can see, of course, we retested the same $200 support. That would be another confirmation that this 200 level is pretty strong, and we have pushed higher, right? What about the short-term trend? Well, for the short-term trend, you can take a look at the green line. So you can see right over here in May, we saw the 20 days moving average. This green line started to like point down, flatten, and started to point up, right? So you can see that's where we started to push up, and we broke that $200 level when the green line was pointing up. So that was another confirmation of the short-term trend, right? Pushing high. You can see went all the way up, and over the past like 1-2 months, you can see that this green line, the 20 days moving average, the short-term trend, is a little bit up. I would say slightly pointing up, maybe slightly sideways for now, but gently pointing up, right? So the longer term trend is up, the short term trend is slightly up, I would say, right? But you can see that over the past 2 months, after breaking 200, we actually formed quite a major resistance level. That's where sellers have came back. So I talk about it. That would be a 240, about 238 to 240. I think let's just say $240. So let me go to draw this psychological resistance level right over here. That would be a red line because it's a resistance level. And yeah, over the past 2 months, you can see, right, we sold off. Same thing, we have neared it somewhere in August, right? We got a bearish candle coming out, and we sold off again, right? Same thing, hit it there somewhere in September, near it, we sold off. And in fact, just about 2 weeks back, we got like a little bit of a doji right over here, and then we started to sell off a little bit, right? So I think 240 would be a very key, I would say, psychological resistance level to watch, right? We are still below it now. It's like $233. We're still below it, but you can see that we are slowly approaching this 240 psychological resistance. So we might near it again. We might go to 238 or 239, and then we might sell down a bit. But if we can break this 240 level, I think that's where it will be another phase higher for the uptrend, or we'll get out of this 2-3 months consolidation, and it will be another phase higher, which whereby targets could be revised higher. I would say maybe from 215, right? Okay, so you can see right over here, we actually have what we call a consolidation, a little bit of support coming in. So 200 will be a very key psychological support level, right? But over the past 1-2 months, you can see that actually some support came out, maybe somewhere around 215, right? 215, you see, that's where we saw some bullish candles coming out right over here, a hammer plus a doji, and the rebound happened. So about 215. So you look at this range, right, from 215 to 240. So that is the range, all right? If we were to break the $240, that's where we could extrapolate this. Our upside targets could be revised maybe all the way to around the 265 to 270, right over here. I think maybe this around here, that could be the upside targets, anywhere from 260 to 270. We may see more strength, right, if the 240 key resistance were to give way, right? So I've set my alerts, right? If that were to give way, I think good. That is where finally, right, we have got out of this, I would say, since July, right? It's about 4 months, 3 to 4 months consolidation phase, and it will be another phase up again. That's where targets can be revised even higher. So if you're looking to get in on dips on Apple, which is one of those popular, fundamentally strong stocks, well, perhaps you could think about getting in near the support level. As I mentioned, right, 215, right, 215 would be the immediate support level right now that we have rebounded one somewhere last month. All right, so that's where if we were to hit there again, some buying pressure might come back again. Also, where you can see that's where the 100 days moving average line is as well. But I'm not too sure whether you go back down to 215 for you to buy, but I think anything near 215 to maybe even 220 or 225 right over here, I think anything in this range. If I can just draw it for you, you can see that is where potentially some bargain hunting can come back again, from 215 all the way to even 225. I think right over here, right? That's where we might see a potential rebound again. So that's where you can think about getting in for a rebound all the way to that 240. Of course, you know, if the 240 were to give way, great, right? That would be another face up again. All right, guys. So that's it. That is Apple stock code AAPL, one of the most popular stock that I get asked quite often on, the highest market cap stock in the world right now. And I hope you now have a better picture of how we look like on the chart and some of the news that came out in terms of Apple intelligence as well. It remains to be seen, all right, whether how it performs on the phone as well, whether it's good enough, whether it meets expectations as well, right? So I hope you like this video, and if you like this video, go to give me a like, smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button as well, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this. Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.